Today's episode of Darkness Radio is brought to you by Microdose. Get out of pain, get out of anxiety, and start treating yourself a little bit better. Try Microdose. Microdose is a CBD THC gummy that will get you out of pain, get you out of anxiety, and get you into feeling good again. To learn more about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com and use the code DARKNESS to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description, but again, that's microdose.com, code DARKNESS. Welcome into the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Got a good show ahead for you today, folks. I'm really excited about today's show and that I got to screen an upcoming movie based on a true story. This is actually a true crime drama that I got to take a look at, and I'll tell you, it's based on a real crime that I want to get into today. And a criminal that's still out there, which is unusual because normally Hollywood likes to take their films and wrap it up in a nice bow and present it to us. And this one is about a charismatic killer that is still out there, which kind of freaks you out. It kind of keeps you on the edge. We'll explain about it a little bit here in just a bit. My guest today is Matthew Gentile, who is the director and writer of this particular movie, which is called American Murderer. Matthew is an award-winning director and screenwriter based in Los Angeles. He most recently completed his first feature film, which is this movie we're talking about today, American Murderer, a true crime drama that stars Tom Pelphrey, who is in Ozark and Outer Range, Ryan Phillippe, who I'm sure you're familiar with from Breach and Crash, Idina Menzel from Uncut Gems and Frozen. You might have seen her in Uncut Gems. I remember seeing her there. Two-time Oscar nominee Jackie Weaver. Saban Films and Universal Pictures have acquired the film's worldwide distribution rights. It is slated for a theatrical release on October 21st, which is already out, and it has its world premiere at the prestigious, I believe it's Taormina Film Fest in Sicily, where it opened the official competition after Francis Ford Coppola presented the 50th anniversary of The Godfather. Matthew is a graduate of the prestigious directing program at the AFI Conservatory. Matthew's thesis film Frontman won the Student Emmy for Best Directing and a dozen other prizes. Shortly after graduating, Matthew was hired to come back to AFI as an alum and direct a second thesis film, Lawman, which starred Lance Reddick from The Wire. That short played over 100 festivals worldwide and won the Dolby plus Vizio Vision Award at AFI Fest. After completing Lawman, Matthew went on to direct a proof of concept short for American Murderer, which starred Jonathan Groff from The Matrix and Amanda Crew from Silicon Valley. Currently, Matthew is writing his second feature, which is called The Socialite. It's a true crime drama that is based on the book A Socialite Scorned by Carrie Drobin, and developing multiple projects in the true crime genre. Let's welcome in to True Crime Tuesday, Matthew Gentile. Welcome in, Matthew.
Thank you so much for having me, Tim.
I got to tell you, first of all, I enjoyed the film immensely. First of all,
thank you.
And I really did enjoy. I enjoyed the lead, Tom Pelphrey. First of all, very charismatic, and really does convey the. I guess for lack of a better term, I never want to put the word charisma into the character of a killer or a con man, but con men tend to be very charismatic. So, right. We're talking about our subject here, Jason Derek Brown. You never want to make the character too likable. And what I liked about this is he was not likable. Tell me, first of all, before we get into the background of Jason Derek Brown, what was the challenge here for you, Matthew, about trying to balance that very delicate enigma that was Jason Derek Brown?
Yeah, well, thank you for watching it and enjoying it. We made it for true crime fans like you and your audience. In terms of Jason Derek Brown's likability, yeah, likable is an interesting word in the film industry. A lot of times when you get notes on a script, it'll often be, the executives will give it back and say, the person's not likable enough. I think likable is funny because if you look at, I don't know, I'm going to take my favorite films, let's say, from Dog Day Afternoon, which made me want to be a filmmaker, to Goodfellas, to, even stuff recent like, say, The Town, or, a film noir like, Double Indemnity or Body Heat, right? I mean, a lot of these characters, if you really picked them apart, you'd be like, they're pretty unlikable. They do terrible things, right? Yeah. And I think that, likability isn't necessarily what draws me to the cinema. Now, there are a lot of people who love likable characters. I mean, I do love Forrest Gump, and that's the most likable character who probably ever lived. But that's a different kind of film than, say, what we're trying to do here. And certainly I think what's being and what's been done in the film noir anti-hero space. Two other films that made me want to be a filmmaker were HUD with Paul Newman and The Hustler, right? And in both of those movies, he plays a pretty self-destructive, unlikable guy. Or, even going back to Shakespeare, I mean, you look at Macbeth, right? I mean, I still feel pathos for Macbeth at the end of Macbeth, even though I know the horrible things that he does, right? And that goes back all the way to the Middle Ages. So I think this has been an interesting, I think the power of film, art, literature, true crime podcasts, books, right, novels, is that it stories allow us to kind of question the world we live in and make order of it, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of Jason Derek Brown, I was drawn to this story from quite a young age. When I was 14, the crime was committed. That's when actually the movie takes place. Mm-hmm. And I had heard about it because I used to go on the FBI.gov website. I would look up the top 10 fugitives and, see if I could help them catch a criminal, because that was my childhood aspiration before wanting to be a filmmaker. And I remembered the top 10 list was so peppered with, people like Osama bin Laden, Whitey Bulger, menacing guys, criminal masterminds who were really sophisticated. And then you had this surfer dude from Southern California with spiky hair, frosted tips, green eyes. Something about him just didn't really fit the profile. Mm-hmm. And so the face of Jason immediately struck me, seeing it back then. And then I, cut to 14 years later, I graduated from film school at the AFI, which you nicely got an ad in my bio, in your intro to me. And I was looking around and I saw that Jason was still out there and still missing. His face popped up on my television one day when I was doing some work. And I just looked and I said, oh my gosh, this guy's still out there. And I turned the volume up. And what I realized about Jason that was so interesting to me, because, really on the surface, nothing about this guy's likable. He's quite obnoxious. He's a surfer dude, kind of I guess you would call him like a frat boy type, right? Mm-hmm. Or, in many ways, Jason Derek Brown was an influencer kind of before the thing existed in terms of how he would put images of himself out there into the ether. He would film himself throwing lavish boat parties, which we recreate in the film, or, take pictures of himself shirtless in front of a Cadillac with his arms up in the air big. He was a very larger than life figure who liked to kind of put this image of himself out there. And he was doing this in the early 2000s when it wasn't really done as much as it is, say, now. Now it really has become what Jason does in those pictures might be now considered normal, right, on Instagram or something, or TikTok or whatnot. Right. So he was kind of ahead of his time in a way as this figure. But what really fascinated me about Jason was how here was a guy who did something so heinous and awful, and yet he was able to charm his way into so many different people's lives and ultimately mean so many different things to so many different people. Mm-hmm. So to his sister, he was this loving brother, right? To his older brother, he was the family screw up. His Idina Menzel's character, his landlady, he's the romantic hero and the cool guy who has it all, who has money and status and all that. And is good with her son and just like Mr. Perfect. And then to, Ryan Phillippe's character, he's a monster who he's desperately trying to expose to these people. And he's frustrated because he can't get that out. So what fascinated me, and I think what helps, to answer your question, navigate that line, was ultimately telling this as a story through all of these different perspectives. So that by the end of the film, you kind of get this 360-degree view of who he was. And whether you like him, love him, hate him, or fall anywhere in between. And I've had people watch this movie feel all kinds of things, which I always consider a good sign. You know, whether you feel anything about that, wherever you land, you're going to come out understanding him. And I think that, you know, for me, I prefer when I watch a movie, maybe I don't come out liking the guy. Like, you know, Scorsese always talks about how at the end of Goodfellas, people complain that Henry Hill gets away with everything, and then he's complaining about the pasta. Right? Like, you got away with everything, right. You know, murder, drug, like, and he's complaining that the spaghetti's not good anymore. And people were angry about that. And I love that. I think that, you know, film has the opportunity, I think, as do all art forms, to really spark debate and spark conversation and get, you know, provoke thought and, you know, argument. And I love that. And I think, you know, if I made the film for any reason, it's not to necessarily send a message saying, like, you know, con men are evil or this and that. It's more to ask, why do we fall for con artists? Why does this keep happening? You know, and how do we deal with someone in our society like Jason Derek Brown, who is sociopathic? And, you know, in his own mind wasn't. He was, in his own mind, I think Jason saw himself as a wounded, immature man-child who was desperate. And he made a calculation. I think that's his twisted brain's way of looking at it. But he did something horrendous and unforgivable, right? And so I think, but at the same time, he also meant so many things to different people. There were people who knew him and who loved him, right? And so that's what the movie is ultimately trying to shine a light on and explore. And so for that, I think that's why, you know, the film has an interesting tone and way of unfolding, because you're really seeing this guy who's unpredictable and tough to pin down. You know, I mean, I spent a long time working on the script, and I got to tell you, Jason Derek Brown's still in it, but me.
Well, I think it shows, Matthew, honestly. And if I can, I'm gonna throw some flowers your way here. I think to people who sit down and really give it a good, honest, deep watch, they'll see, and I think they'll be honestly surprised, without any spoilers here, that you manage to show things in layers, and they're honestly, you put it brilliantly yourself just a moment ago. Why people are fooled by con men, con women, con people, put it that way. Right. Because things are unfolded in layers. Because as Jason is taking his journey here, we are kind of fooled throughout the movie as to how brilliant he really is. You kind of painted it nicely yourself as you were laying him out there. That you get the impression that he's this kind of Southern California surfer dude. You get the idea that maybe he isn't too bright upstairs, or he's just a party guy. Meanwhile, the wheels are turning upstairs. They're always turning upstairs. He's always looking, watching, surveying, thinking. He's always got a target, and he's always taking inventory on what's going on around him. Right. And nobody's noticing that the lights are always on, and he's always taking notes. Yeah. And that's kind of unfolded throughout the movie. And again, that's spoiler free. But you managed to show the layers throughout the movie that really that Jason has here. And you're kind of hit as the movie progresses that, hey, you know what? There is more to this guy. But really, it's Ryan's character as the FBI agent that is really also unfolding these elements for you as well. He's giving you the obvious, while Jason is giving you the not so obvious. And that's really the brilliance in the storytelling here. Thank you. The two are giving you the story. One is really laying it out there for you. The other is giving you the subtle hints as well. So, yeah. Well,
thank you for saying that. Yeah, and that's the idea, is we, thank you so much for saying that, because that's what we're trying to do here, is just really let the story unfold, right? And I think that, for me, like, it's flags our title's American Murder, right? Which definitely, could get someone's attention and on a movie theater list or whatever. But, the idea here is that it's about a lot more than that. It's about, watching Jason and all of his various nodes, because this guy is really complex. He's not just one thing. And I think that those are my kinds of favorite movies. Like, I've seen Lawrence of Arabia, I think 25 times in my life on the big screen, half of them. I keep going back to that film because I still can't figure T.E. Lawrence out. He's just so complex to me. And same with, when I watch Raging Bull and I see Jake LaMotta, I'm like, I just can't. And I think that's part of the appeal also of true crime as a genre and as a popular form of entertainment these days. There's a lot of think pieces going on about true crime, and it's boom right now. But I think the appeal of true crime is, we like to ask questions. Why do people do this? Right. Mm-hmm. What's, and I think that's good drama as well. Good drama is about examining, human behavior. So thank you for saying it's a huge compliment.
Oh, sure.
And,
absolutely. Well, it's well deserved. It's well deserved. I mean, it really is unfolded quite brilliantly. Now, the crime was actually committed in what year? Was it 2004?
2004.
Okay.
Yeah. November 29th, 2004 was when.
So from 2004 up until now, according to Wikipedia, it says that he dropped off in September of 2022. I don't know how accurate Wikipedia is from the.
Yeah, no, that's true. September 7th, he was taken off. He was removed from the FBI top 10 list.
From the top 10 list. That's a good long run on the top 10 list of top 10 wanted fugitives.
18 years. Yeah.
18 years. That tells you how much of a danger they truly believe he is.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, and I'm not sure why they took him off. That surprised me because that happened roughly a month ago. And someone's texted me about that Jason was no longer on the list. And I know they have their reasons for taking people off the list. They might not deem him as much of a threat anymore or something like that because he has been gone for so long now. But yeah, it's pretty baffling that he was taken off the list, but it's as baffling that he was on that list for so long. So who knows?
I tell you what, let's do this, Matthew. Let's take our break right now. When we come back, let's talk about Jason Derek Brown. Let's talk a little bit about his character and what got him to starting to commit crimes. Yeah. A little bit about his background and growing up, and we'll get into who Jason Derek Brown is, what got him to the point of committing crimes, what got him on that list, and we'll play a little game of what if and where we might speculate he might be. Because, right. I mean, how do you disappear essentially off the face of the earth for this long? I mean, that's a pretty good trick. And as far as I know, Elvis, Tupac, and a few other people might be at a Dairy Queen in Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's all I've heard of people who have disappeared. And that's all, conspiracy theory. That's a little joke there, Matthew. You can laugh. It's okay. But it's hard for people to disappear off the face of the earth for that long.
Right. Yeah, it is.
And as far as I know, and as far as the movie references, there's maybe only one other person who's done that and has been an expert to that, and we'll talk about that person. And it's closer than you may think, and we'll talk about that when we come back. Our guest is Matthew Gentile. He is the writer and director of this movie called American Murderer. Matthew, tell people how people can see this movie, American Murderer.
You can see American Murderer. It is now in theaters. We're in 40 theaters nationwide, and on October 28th, this Friday, it will be streaming on all VOD platforms. So anywhere you can rent the film, you want to rent it on the iTunes Store, Amazon, really Charter, anywhere you can rent a film, you can rent American Murderer. But please see it. Please come out and watch it. And please, if you like it, rate it on IMDb, rate it on everything, and recommend to people because we are an indie movie. We look like a studio movie. We're an indie film. We were made, there's a passion project for everybody involved. So please come see it. And if you like it, support it and spread the word so we can keep getting true crime films made.
It sounds good. All right. Do so, folks. During the break, check it out. Is there a website where people can check it out during the break?
You can follow me on Instagram, Matthew L. Gentile, and my website, MatthewGentileDirector.com, for more information about the film. All
right. Check it out during the break, folks. When we come back, we'll talk more about Jason Derek Brown and how exactly he came to committing these crimes and why he's been on that list, on that FBI's most wanted list for so long. We'll do that when we come back here on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Our guest is Matthew Gentile. He is the writer, director, I could say jack of all trades on this, screenwriter of this movie, American Murderer, which is out in theaters on October 28th. You can also buy it on iTunes and all on-demand platforms. Matthew, is that safe to say?
Yep, you can rent it or buy it. Yep.
Okay, on all on-demand platforms coming up on October 28th. I encourage you to go out and see it, folks. I got the privilege of seeing this movie over the weekend, and again, I was very impressed by it, and it has a good cast. It's a good, solid movie, and I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the acting in it as well. And again, the lead actor who played Jason Derek Brown blew me away with his performance. He really did. And you want to talk about a guy who can morph into emotions and play a psychopath. I don't know. He's not a psychopath, right? This lead actor that played Jason Derek Brown.
No, not at all. He's a sweetheart. He's a very good guy, and he's just a great actor. You know, he has an amazing ability to tap into an emotional reservoir that is really deep. And, you know, because really where Tom, I mean, he's been around for a while. He's very experienced, but Ozark was really, I think, the show that kind of broke him out into the public eye.
Tom Pelfrey.
Yeah. And his performance on Ozark really captivated a lot of people. And he does something a little different here. It's not, you know, his character in Ozark is definitely wounded, and emotional, but different. He's more of like a kind of a puppy who can't help himself.
Yeah.
And in this character, he plays something very different that I don't think audiences have really seen him do before, because he's quite evil and cunning.
He is. And he's very good.
Tom can really, he's an amazing actor. I think we're going to see really amazing things from him. As I was just at the San Diego Film Festival last night, where the film won an award for artistic director.
Oh, very cool.
And Tom was in 3 movies there. You know,
wow.
So I think he's really going to start to blow up big.
I believe so as well. Yeah. Tom Pelfrey is his name. He's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. And my apologies, I haven't seen much of Ozark, so this was actually
I hadn't either until my producers, you know, told me about it. They were like, this guy on Ozark's really great and getting some heat, and I was like, okay. And I didn't know. I would get a phone call like that every day. You know, this actor's good. But when I saw him, it was like 5 seconds I knew. You know, on that show, just he had everything. He's so physical and dynamic and. Yeah, no, and he's nothing like Jason Derek Brown. He's a great guy.
And it's amazing when you see real life pictures of Jason Derek Brown, and then you take a look at Tom. I mean, the similarities are pretty darn close. I mean, especially you look at the booking photos. You know, the booking photos side by side in the red jumpsuits.
My production designer actually just posted on her social media a picture of the real Jason, and because we recreated that mugshot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because their faces are quite different. You know, dare I say, I think Tom's more handsome.
Yes.
Classically, you know, but no, Tom really caught his essence completely. He had exactly it down. You know, he knew the character, he knew what to do. But I think why it's such a great performance from him is he really plays it as a human. He doesn't play it as a socio.
Right.
You know, now the character is one, but Tom, I think, in playing the role, didn't choose to do it that way, because it could have. You know, we talked about the line earlier that this movie could have walked. And you know, what I love so much about Tom's performance is that it's big and it's larger than life in a way that reminds me of like some old movie stars, like you think about like Jack Nicholson or Jim Carrey, even like he has that kind of like dynamic nature to him that I think has been a little bit lost lately in movies. I think a lot of actors are afraid of big performances these days, and I think Tom was fearless. He would go for it, but he managed to make it a big, larger than life performance without it feeling like a caricature.
Thank you. And that's what I was going to say. Yep.
And I think that I can't say enough good words about that man. His acting.
And you're absolutely right there, Matthew. It's not big, over the top, cartoonish. It is right in the wheelhouse. It is very realistic. It's a realistic, psychopathic. There's a scene right before he goes into a pawn shop where he's trying to. It's the perfect sociopathic scene where he's trying to work up an emotion, like he's trying to connect with an emotion, and it's perfect because sociopaths don't feel emotions. Right. So he's trying to work himself into a tear, which is perfect. And he's rehearsing his line. He's trying to say, well, my mother who died of cancer, and he's trying to remember. and he's trying to get into that feeling, and it is so pitch perfect, you know.
Yeah.
And it to me, I was like, wow, he's just hitting it. You know, he's on all cylinders here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
he really.
Yeah. So
the guy knows what he's doing.
He does. And so, yeah. And it's eerie at the same time, you know. I mean, it's eerie to see that there's someone who would have to sit there and think, well, what would it feel like to actually lose somebody, you know, and to actually have to know what it feels like to feel loss, that they're so cold and calculating that they can't relate to loss, you know?
Right.
Because I think we've all been there where we can relate to losing somebody and be able to feel that at the drop of a hat. But, you know, Jason can't feel that. He just can't, you know, he has to manufacture it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is just, scary in itself. Speaking of not being able to feel that, let's go to his upbringing and Jason Derek Brown's upbringing. Why is he so detached? Can you tell us a little bit about his upbringing, about Jason Derek Brown's upbringing?
Yeah. And, you know, the movie hints at this. You know, we only had an hour, 40 minutes, so we couldn't get into all the crazy, fascinating stuff about Jason's life. But, you know, Jason Derek Brown in true life was, you know, raised in a Mormon family, you know, grew up in Laguna Beach area. His father was a criminal and con man, who was kind of back and forth between a very strict, devout Mormon life and then breaking it to go off the deep end and, you know, enjoying a life of sin, gambling, drinking, and partying and all that. Mm-hmm. The father, you know, was he was quite a character himself. Jason took after him in a lot of ways. The father would take the kids on fancy road trips to places like Tijuana and Vegas, leave them in the car locked for 3 hours while he would go and do shady dealings. You know, there was reports of him, you know, doing everything from like having the kids answer the phone if the police or, you know, the government was looking for him called. So, you know, Jason, I think it's important for people to know that Jason Derek Brown was coached. He was not really, you know, this guy wasn't necessarily born this way completely. You know, his father really taught him these ways and gave him kind of, you know, and really appealed to him. He was a charismatic guy himself. So there's a big link between Jason and his father. I think there was a hole in Jason's heart when his father disappeared. So Jason's upbringing was interesting because the family was quite dysfunctional. The parents had a very bad divorce. The father really waged war against the mother, and Jason grew up when he was 18. He kind of was similar to his father, going back and forth. It seemed like at first he had promised that he was going to go be a Mormon missionary. He went to France, did a mission. You know, there's all these letters he famously wrote to his grandparents saying how much of a joy it was to be in France. And, you know, at 18 and wide-eyed, he met a young woman there. They got married. They were very religious. But I think the religious life proved tough for Jason, which makes sense. See the movie. And his father, right around the time he was in his early 20s, went missing, disappeared completely off the grid, just vanished into the ether. No one knows where he went, has never been found. And Jason, around this time, reportedly started to kind of ditch his old life and go more for a life like his father, you know, where he started to enjoy wealth, image, status, driving BMWs, going to Vegas, gambling, you know, drinking, partying.
Yeah.
And he basically to, you know, enjoy this, you know, Jason wanted to be rich and wanted to be a wealthy guy, but he didn't want to work for it. So he worked for it by doing petty scams, you know, and he would commit bank fraud. And he had a pretty elaborate con where he would, you know, would move into a neighborhood, in a suburban area, you know, in the South American Southwest. He'd go like, you know, California, Southern California, or Arizona, or Nevada, and like just move into Salt Lake City where we filmed the movie, move into a town, coming with, you know, Cadillacs and BMWs and boats. And, you know, people would kind of ask like, who the hell is this guy? What's he doing? And he was, you know, he'd present himself as a businessman, you know, someone who worked at home and like ran a company. And, you know, he's that larger than life fun guy. He'd go partying with you know, you go partying with the guys in the street, you take everyone out to the bar, buy everyone a round of drinks. You know, it was just that cool kind of big man on campus. And he was like great with kids. He would watch people's kids for them. You know, he was just like a fun loving, cool guy is what he seemed to be on the surface. What they didn't know is that there was something much more sinister going on. And that he was defrauding people and kind of moving from one place to the other. So he never would stay in one place for too long. So he'd do like 3 months in Phoenix, and then he'd go 3 months in Utah, and then go 3 months here, 3 months there, and he was going all around. After doing this for many years, finally Jason realized that, his debts were catching up to him. People were on his trail, and he became more and more desperate and not able to keep up with the lifestyle he had set for himself. And that is ultimately what drove him to do the unthinkable, which was plan an elaborate heist of an armored truck. And, that is the crime that made him become this figure as we know today, of this fugitive who's disappeared.
The questions come up too. There's a lot of partying. There's some drugs in there too, when it came to Jason. And you wonder too here, Matthew. It's kind of intimated in the movie a little bit. And I'll ask you this question straight out. Do you think that because of Jason's lifestyle, or do you think it's a side effect of his lifestyle? Do you think he shot too high by thinking, if I rob an armored truck, there's going to be more there than there actually is?
Yeah. And by most accounts, he did think there would be more money than what he ended up getting. He was a calculating personality, calculating mind rather. Yeah. And Jason, one of the things my editor and I always said was, it's as if Jason sees everybody as a personal credit card. He's constantly using and thinking how he can, and it's everyone. Mm-hmm. It's his family, it's his friends. And it's like, how can I use this person? I could stay in that person's house on their couch for 2 weeks, and then I got to go. Yeah. I could, if I do this, I'll get that. And, the armored truck was certainly a miscalculation. He didn't realize how there wouldn't be as much money as he thought. He might not have done it if that, but who knows? And so I think Jason, it's hard to say without being in his mind, because I've just stressed that my film's true crime fiction, not true crime documentary or narrative. I've fictionalized things to make it as compelling of a story as possible. But, by all accounts, Jason was in his own mind desperate. And, I did see the movie in some ways, and Tom and I talked about this as an addiction film, where he's chasing a high. His high is kind of, it's his times with his father living a lavish life. It's his times with partying on a boat and having everyone admiring him. It's living in one of those neighborhoods where everyone thinks he's this businessman he says he is. He's playing a part. And I think part of what makes him or made him a great con man is that, he was convinced himself he was this person. It was fun to play that guy because he believed a part of it. And I think that's how Jason was able to make people fall in love with him, because I think he believed a part of it. Otherwise, I don't think he would have been so convincing. So that's what I think makes him so endlessly fascinating is, people ask questions like, well, there's a storyline between him and Idina Menzel and their characters fall in love. And people ask me all the time, like, well, did he really love her? Did he care about her? Or did he just completely chuck her? And look, there's arguments for both. He does use her. Yeah. Right, ultimately. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't think her character is dumb, and I don't think she's stupid for falling for him. I think he was really convincing. And so I think there must have been a part of him that felt something too, even though ultimately he did see her as, a mark.
As much as a sociopath can fall in love, there's an argument there that says if it takes something for him to try to generate a tear in order to, or try to find a place where he could try to feel grief, there's got to be something in there that tries to find a place to try to feel love. I would think that, basic needs need to be satiated, I guess. But but in the same regard, I would think that, and he might feel a soft spot for the kid, for her kid, because all sociopaths seem to feel something for, animals and kids. But at the same time, I don't know how much Jason really felt for her.
I think we'll never know, and I think obviously it wasn't enough, right? To not use her, and to not use other people, period. It's just, there's a great line Jackie Weaver says to the sister in the film, where she says, of all the people he hurt, you might actually be the only one he really cared about. And I don't think she's wrong necessarily. Like most of these people, he obviously didn't care about them enough to not inflict serious damage upon their lives. And that's what someone often like Jason Derek Brown does, is they don't realize how much, but they're inflicting damage upon people. And con artists do that, right? Sure. And how does the con artist term comes from the phrase confidence trickster, right? So they earn your confidence and then take what they want. But I think, to be a good con artist, there has to be some, they have to convince people on some level. And I think what I've noticed in a lot of con artist stories is that it's almost like they convince themselves of one thing, right? They convince themselves, I am this loving person, and then they can act it well. But then when it's over, that's it. They wipe the slate clean and they move on. And that's clearly what Jason did.
There's something that kind of confused me a little bit in the movie. Now, I guess it is a little intimated that maybe either Jason or his brother might have had contact with their father when he was gone. Is that the case? Did they have contact with him, or was he truly gone?
Nobody really knows. It's kind of a mystery, which is why it is confusing in the film, and we did that kind of on purpose, because I think, it's likely that the father might have sent them or sent Jason money or things like that every now and then. That said, both Jason and his father, we know, disappeared from the people he knew and love's lives, right? They completely kind of wiped their slate clean and vanished. And to vanish and stay hidden, it was easier when the father did in 1994. That's when he disappeared. And it was also easier to vanish when Jason vanished in 2004. Today, it would be much harder in 2022 because, with all the technology and social media and all of that, it would be much easier, or it would be much more difficult to go off the radar the way these two guys did. That said, it's tough to say. My instinct is that Jason and his father probably did have some kind of, maybe his father sent him something, or who knows. But, the heat was not as on for his father as it was for Jason, right? Because the father never was a top 10 fugitive. He was a pretty petty, a flim-flam con man. He wasn't exactly considered a menace to society, per se, like Jason was.
If you had to, there's a connection here, and through a different program that I did, there is a Mormon connection in Mexico. There's a Mormon sect in Mexico, they're a more stricter offshoot of Mormons that are in Mexico. It could be very, I don't want to say likely, but it could be, I don't want to use the word likely here, Matthew, but, the father could have gone down to that sect of Mormons and could have just assimilated and went and lived down there, or tried to go down there if he was truly Mormon. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's living the Mormon lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
No, there are theories about that. There are a lot of theories that Jason and his father went with the Mormon community and were hiding amongst them. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, look, anything's possible. What's very clear is these were two guys who know how to stay hidden, right? And were coached Jason was coached by his father in the art of disappearance. I mean, that was a true quote that's in the film, where the dad used to say to them, "If I'm gone for more than 48 hours, get rid of everything." Right? That was something he would say to his kids growing up. If I'm ever gone for more than 40, and then one time he was gone for more than 48 hours, and that's what happens. So, it's, these guys are pretty skilled in that. So they could be in the Mormon community pretending to be someone else completely, and know how to talk amongst them. Jason also spoke French and Spanish, and, so and was a charming guy, obviously, as was the dad. So, it's amazing how we can fall for people who have charm and trickery and deceit. And that's kind of what the film's exploring. But yeah, I think there are endless theories on where they could be. There's some people who think they reunited, the father and the brother, and the father and Jason. I don't know about that, but that is a theory. So there's all kinds of possibilities where Jason could be. But, to quote my good friend and one of my lead actors, Ryan Phillippe, if more people see this movie, and talk about it, maybe someone will find out what happened or catch Jason.
You do bring up an interesting point. It seems like, with the relaunched Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix, with different shows like that, when a case does come up, or like with your movie, American Murderer, when something's brought to light, a lot more people have eyes on that case. And, all of a sudden things seem to be top of mind or top of the mind awareness. And all of a sudden more people are looking out for a particular person. Whereas before it just, people were walking around clueless. Do you feel like maybe your movie could potentially find Jason somewhere?
I think it's highly possible, certainly if enough people see it and talk about it, it could. I didn't make it for that reason specifically. I made it to, explore an anti-hero who I found fascinating, and that's what drove me to tell the story, and to, again, pose questions, of why do we fall for con artists, and what is the dark side of this American dream that we live in, and, and poke at that. That's what I was trying to really investigate with this film. Mm-hmm. But I do think it's possible, because I think there is a good chance Jason's still out there, and living somewhere under the radar. And yeah, so possible for sure.
When you look at, speaking from your own psyche, if you were to be approached by Jason, let's say out of the blue, okay, I want to play some what if games here with you, Matthew, today.
Love hypotheticals.
So let's play the hypothetical game, shall we? Let's say you got a phone call from Jason today, and he just said to you, Matthew, I don't want to be found. I understand what you're doing here, but I don't want to be found. If he were to offer to give you the answers as to where he's been and pay you a small amount of cash just to kind of stop talking, just stop taking interviews, just stop doing whatever, right, to stop promoting this movie, would you be tempted? Would you be tempted?
No, I don't think so. I come from a family of lawyers, so I'm kind of on the Ryan Phillippe side of the equation. I mean, if I was in that situation, I'm also a bit of a wimp, so I would probably call the cops after. Please keep a patrol car outside my house. And look, in the event that Jason's listening to this, I would try to avoid it, and avoid contact with him altogether. If he tried to contact me, I would call the authorities and, try to see if they could trace that call. But no, that's a really interesting hypothetical. If it happens, I'll give you a call and let you know what I did. Because that's something that in the moment I can only really say what I would do, but I'll let you know.
It's an interesting scenario because
yes, I wouldn't take a bribe from him though. I would not. I could say that I would not take Jason Derek Brown's money to, stay quiet or whatnot, or stop talking about the movie.
Let me ask you this: do you believe, even though there is one death to his credit, do you believe Jason Derek Brown is a killer? Do you believe he created, or that he spawned other murders after he murdered the initial person that he murdered? Or do you think it was a one and done deal? Do you think he went back, he just disappeared and never murdered another person again, and that's why the FBI has dropped him off that 10 most wanted?
It's a great question. And it's tough to answer because I can't say I know. My guess is probably the latter. I think it probably, look, we know from the movie and what's out there about him that this is someone who would commit murder to get what he wanted, mm-hmm. right? Because he did it. Mm-hmm. So that is pretty clear. And he obviously is capable, right? Doing it once proves probably that he could do it again. My instinct and best guess says that he probably is, if he's not dead, right? Which I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but if he's not dead, he's probably living somewhere completely under the radar, low key, keeping a low profile. And honestly, my guess would be he probably completely wiped his slate clean in his head and forgot it, and did his best to convince himself that old life of his doesn't exist. And he's probably, he could be a waiter somewhere, or working at a surf shop, right? In Bali, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just living under the radar, and having, the people who are around him have no idea who he is or what he's done. And he's done a good enough job at convincing them he's somebody else completely. That would be my best guess. And my guess would be he wouldn't do that kind of crime again, because that could bring him too much attention. Because I think the thing with, obviously, by whatever means necessary, he's done a good job at staying hidden and being under the radar. And I think doing another crime like he did of that magnitude would sabotage that. So my guess is he didn't. But that said, he is dangerous because he did it and he never got caught. So,
Yeah. Do you think if he is dead that the people who he owed money to finally found him?
It's funny. We had in the production office for the movie, we filmed in Utah, and we had this office, and there was like a window where everyone wrote with a marker where they thought Jason was. Mm-hmm. And the producers said to me, well, the thugs killed him. Now, the thugs were not completely made up. They were used as a device in the movie. So Jason did owe money to mobsters, allegedly, and loan sharks. Around that time, I'm not sure how much he did or where they were playing into it, but I used that from anecdotes. I had heard that Jason was, had people on his trail looking for money constantly. So the thugs were a little dramatized. That said, I think him being dead is very possible. I think him being out there I'd say it's totally 50-50. It's like a flip of a coin. I used to be fully convinced he was alive somewhere, and now I'm not as sure, as I talked about this movie, because it's mind-boggling. How did he stay hidden for so long? Where did he go? What did he do? But we know what a convincing con artist he is. So I'd say there's a good chance he is still out there. But yeah, thugs, some people he had money to could have absolutely killed him or done something. I mean, it's highly possible.
And then I'll throw this scenario at you here, Matthew. What are the chances that he did get away scot-free, went to a different country and conned the wrong person and got killed?
Well, that's possible too. Some people also think suicide's a possibility, but a lot of people said his ego might not, as they know, it might not do that. So yeah, he could, he was obviously someone who was sophisticated in the underworld and knew how to maneuver through there, right? And knew how to falsely disguise himself and all that. So, in that underworld, anything is possible. He could also just be like, I assume you watch Better Call Saul. He could be Gene at Bob Odenkirk at the Cinnabon.
That's true.
Just hiding in the house, and maybe he gets into crimes a little bit here and there, but stays mostly straight and narrow. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He really, but like I said, if more people watch the film and check it out, then maybe we will get some answers or get some people rediscovering and re-examining this case.
And just one final one. Have you ever, I know your main goal here is not to dig up Jason Derek Brown and find out where he is yourself. And I mean, it's not your goal. You're not the bounty hunter here.
At 14, that was my goal, but now at 32, it's different.
It's different. But you do have these wonderful, dare I say, dark tools at your disposal, such as the dark web and other things that evil does lie on. Has there been any talk of, and for some reason, I don't understand why, like, the FBI doesn't utilize some of these things, or maybe they do. But is there, or has there been talk of hiring a private investigator to go after Jason Derek Brown?
I have no idea. I have no clue. I didn't work with the FBI on this. They don't cooperate with films when an investigation is open.
Okay.
Which this one still is. So I haven't spoken with them about it. Curious to see what they would think about the movie. But, so I have no idea. I have no idea what their plans are, what they're doing. I know at one point they used to get more tips on Jason than anybody else because of his look and his ability. He's probably the most normal looking guy on the FBI top 10 list, being a white male, 5'10", with a certain like surfer dude kind of look. He has the ability, and think about his name too, Jason Derek Brown. It's like three of the most basic American names right there.
Yeah.
Or just Jason Brown, right? It's a very easy name to hide with, right? And just read alts for. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is to find him. I don't know the urgency. I mean, I think removing him from the top 10 list seems to indicate that there might be some, as you said earlier, maybe some hope on their part that he's rehabilitated himself somewhat, or that he's not alive. But I don't know. I mean, I think there's still a lot of unanswered questions that I think a lot of us would want answered. So hopefully watching the movie gets people to unpack that.
Does it seem odd to you, though, Matthew, that the FBI hasn't taken interest in your film, especially since this is probably going to drive a whole lot of people towards them as far as tips and new sightings and even if they're false sightings, but it's going to drive a whole lot of traffic their way in the next few weeks?
Well, I'll see what they say. I've never spoken with them. I did have a really great law enforcement consultant on the film named Adam Richardson, who was a detective who's worked with the FBI a lot. He actually, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Alpha Dog, but Adam apprehended the real Jesse James Hollywood, who worked that case for years. And he was my consultant, so he informed me a lot on how the FBI operates and gave me a lot of insight that helped the film a lot. And he's a great guy and resource for writers, because any writers listening who do crime stuff, Adam actually consults screenwriters on and TV shows, TV writers on how to get police procedure correct. He's awesome in that way, and he really helps me with mine. So I had a lot of insight into them, but yeah, I don't know. I don't, like I said, I just, not being an FBI agent, I gave up that childhood dream to do this filmmaking thing. So it's tough for me to say what they, how grateful or ungrateful they will be for this movie bringing them this case attention. But hopefully it benefits people.
So let me ask you this, Matthew. Where do you feel like your influence could do the most good as far as helping people? Is it being a filmmaker now, or could it be being an FBI agent? I'm curious.
Switching. Well, I don't think I could be an FBI agent. I maybe a desk guy. Ryan could have been an FBI agent. Ryan Phillippe. he has the ability to do it. Comes from a military background and all of that, and is very athletic and fit, which I'm not. I think that, what I think a filmmaker has the power to do, and what I've noticed being a filmmaker early on in my career is you have the ability to engage and bring people together. I saw the movie opened this weekend. It's my first film opening at theaters. I saw it in LA, and we sold out screenings in New York. And to see 50, 60, 100 people coming together in a room in the dark, right, watching the movie, a beam of light shining over them. They're all watching the same movie, having the same experience, and they're laughing and they're upset and they're on the edge of their seat, right? And the film's making them feel all these emotions. Because that's the thing I think I'm really proud of that American Murderer does is, a lot of crime movies I've seen lately, or crime TV shows, they're really well made most of the time, but they're just kind of dry, and they're kind of, self-serious. And what I wanted to do with American Murderer was really make a film that felt heightened and dramatic, but also true to life, and Jason is someone who he's funny, right? He's funny to watch. He's, he's out there. He's obnoxious. He's in your face, like a gangster in the 30s, right? Those 30 gangster movies, like, hey, guy, you want to come over here? Like Jimmy Cagney. He's kind of, I almost see him as like a millennial modern day version of that.
Right.
And so what I hope to do really with this film and all my films I'm making next, which are all true crime, for now are true crime films, is to really put real people up there. Show you who they are, and not make movies that are overly self-serious and like, we're doing a noir, really put up characters who make you feel things, make you feel a wide variety of things. And that's okay. You can love Jason, you can hate him, and you can have, I think, an equally great experience watching this movie, because you're going to get to see him from all these different perspectives. You're going to get to come out of it, learning about something that's kind of cool and fun and entertaining, but also questioning, why do we fall for con artists? Why does this keep happening? Why do people like Jason get by in our culture? Did society create this? It's all Frankenstein question. Did society create the monster? Did the monster create himself? How did it come to be? And I think if we can move ourselves to a place of, walk away from judgment to a place of understanding, right? And looking at these people for who they are. And I'm not saying, go and feel compassion for them, be like, oh, poor Jason, he did a horrible thing, and we should be aware of that, and we need to be. Yeah. But I think showing all of that, everything wrapped up in it, I think it ultimately can cause good, because it can cause debate, it can cause conversation, and it can cause people to really confront who this kind of guy is. And that's why I made the film. And I think that is where I'm more useful to society than, say, trying to catch him, because I'm not trained in that department at all, and I would fail the physical test for sure.
Well, I would too, for that matter, my friend. I'll tell you that much. I'm probably better off doing the show than I am trying to catch a killer. I know that much.
That's what I think, yeah. Well, we have our job, and their job is to catch them, and our job, I think, you being a true crime creator of content and me being the same, is, we're here to shine light on it and talk about it and discuss it. And I think that that's very healthy, and I think it's a good thing. I think there are studies that say that studying about true crime increases empathy. I learned about this recently, but really? It's a study, because people feel empathy to the people who are hurt and killed, and we have so much of it going on. And I think that, it can be, it's an important job to tell these stories.
Most definitely. And yeah.
Not as important as being a nurse, a firefighter, a teacher, or an FBI agent, but, right. Or anything like that. But, it's a pleasure to be able to do this for a living. And yes. I'm sure you feel similarly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And to be able to get people's stories out there, and more importantly, to be able to keep victims' names out there, I think is what's important too. To be able to keep victims' names out there, and to keep the families out there who especially need justice. That's important as well.
Agreed.
Again, folks, the name of the film is American Murderer. It is on demand and on digital on October 28th. It's also in theaters. Look for it at your local theater. Go see it, folks. Go put your money on it. It is a good film. It's got Tom Pelphrey and Ryan Phillippe in it, and it is a good film. I got the opportunity and the privilege of being able to see it over the weekend, and I'm going to go see it again. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go take a second look at it. Awesome. It does have some layers to it, and it is a very good film. Ryan Phillippe especially was very, very good in it. I think he got.
I agree. He's amazing and a great guy to work with.
You got a really, really good performance out of him as well. Matthew, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Tim, I want to thank you. This was such a pleasure and such a fun conversation.
Well, the pleasure's been mine, my friend. Matthew Gentile has been our guest. He's the writer, director, jack of all trades on this film, and I wish you much success, my friend.
Thank you, brother.
with this film, folks. We're going to turn it around now. Going to lighten it up a little bit. It's time now to bring in Beer City Bruiser, and it's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again for Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals. We're going to lighten it up just a bit after our interview with Matthew Gentile. And to do so, we need to bring in a co-host. We bring in the co-host with the most, the BCB, the Big Cuddly Bear, Beer City Bruiser himself. How you doing, Bruiser?
I'm doing okay, Tim. How are you?
Not too shabby. We got to get things underway here. We got to get things started. And we get things started by announcing...
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him, Bruiser.
We got him?
We got him.
Who do we get this time?
Well, it took us a while. We go out to Pennsylvania. We got him.
The Keystone State, huh?
Yeah, the Keystone State. We got him. It took us a little bit, but by gosh, we got that clown masked robber with the samurai sword. We got him.
Yeah, if you don't want to stand out, you probably shouldn't be a clown masked robber with a samurai sword.
You probably shouldn't be, no. After only 10 days of an exhaustive hunt, we found that clown masked robber with a samurai sword.
You don't hear a lot of robberies with a samurai sword, do you?
Or a guy in a clown mask with a samurai sword, but by gosh, we got him. The man who robbed a Unimart while wearing a clown mask and brandishing a samurai sword has been identified. 39-year-old William Clancy, of course he was middle-aged, from Albrightsville, will be charged with 3 counts of robbery, reckless endangerment, simple assault. It's never simple when it's an assault.
Never simple.
It's never simple.
Especially when there's a samurai sword involved.
Well, yeah, then it's kind of complex.
Yeah, then it's choppy.
See, I think of Belushi too.
Well, that's right. There was a Belushi. See, I think of Kyantai.
You think of Kyantai. Yeah, I think of Belushi.
But you know what? Belushi I should start thinking of, because that was one of the best SNL bits ever.
Yep. Chibaga.
Coke.
Yeah, I have my Coke right now. Chibaga, Coke. As I take my swig. Simple assault, theft, receiving stolen property, and possession of instruments of a crime.
So samurai sword's now an instrument of a crime, huh?
It's a big instrument of a crime, buddy.
Yeah, it is.
According to Pennsylvania state officials, Clancy was caught on video on October 13th at about 4:54 a.m., entering the back of a business and demanding money from a cashier, all while holding a samurai sword. I'm going to stop the press right here, Bruiser. You are working let's just say a second job. You're at a cashier station. You are working the cashier station. You've had a little bit of a frustrating night. It's 4:54 in the AM. You're finally cooling down. You're thinking, whew, been a rough night. Can't wait. Just got a few minutes left. Let's say you get off at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You got 6 minutes left in your shift. You turn around and you see this clown literally with a samurai sword standing in back of you, demanding all your money.
I would actually text you and going, did you order a clown to rib me? Is this a joke, Tim? Cruiser, what are you doing here? Did you hire this guy? That's what I would think right off the bat.
And I'd be like, happy birthday, buddy. And he'd be like, it's not my birthday. And I go, oh, yeah.
Because the question is, why would you rob at 4:55 in the morning? Come on. Get it at the end of the day.
Because Geno's is open all night.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I just can't resist a Geno's or a Pat sub.
Tony Luke's is where it's at, though.
That's what everybody says. They're like, Tony Luke's. You got to stick with the originals, either Pat's or Geno's. You're a Pat's or Geno's guy. Pat's or Geno's.
I'm a Tony Luke's guy.
You know, the locals are Pat's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go get a Pat's.
I've had a Pat's. I've had a Geno's. And I've had Tony Luke's. And I'm a Tony Luke's guy.
You're a Tony Luke's guy.
I'm new school.
You're new
But if I had to choose between Pat and Geno's, I'm a Pat.
Yeah. I mean, if the choice is there, it's got to be Pat's.
Yeah, if it's between those two, then I'm a Pat's guy. But if you throw Tony Luke's in there, and that's where I'm at.
Although all the good-looking girls are over at Geno's.
Are they really?
Yeah. That's
I wouldn't know. Because every time I go in, it's always some South Philadelphia big sweat hog. And I have more teeth than.
Oh, the sweat hogs. Look at you turning heel on the bit.
Turning and channeling my inner Rick Rude.
I guess. Police say that he then exited out the back and ran into the woods like all good Pennsylvanians do. I don't know what that means. Clancy was quickly identified and arrested after his notorious choice of disguise, a clown mask, made the rounds on social media. He is currently being held at the Monroe County Correctional Facility. Of course he is. Just saying.
You got to give him an A for an effort.
Yeah,
he tried.
You did. We encourage people when the police do stop you to be cooperative. Be cooperative. Yes. Be cooperative.
Yes.
Be cooperative. You see what I'm doing here, Bruiser?
I see what you're doing.
Don't throw bees at the police.
Bees aren't necessarily the attack animal I'm thinking of if I'm trying to get away from the police.
Well, one woman released bees on deputies serving an eviction notice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, she really wants to live there.
I guess. We go to Springfield, Massachusetts, where a Hadley woman is facing multiple assault charges after allegedly unleashing a swarm of bees. She must be the unknown member of Wu-Tang Clan.
She's the queen bee.
Yeah. On to Hampton County Sheriff's deputies attempting to serve an eviction notice in Longmeadow, Massachusetts. Rory S. Woods had more than one bee in her bonnet. Get it?
Look at that, a pun.
It is.
That stings. Yeah, that really stings.
Oh my gosh. When she rolled into the Memory Lane driveway on the morning of October 12th, according to court records, instead of a standard eviction notice, deputies found themselves targets of a sting operation. Oh, God.
This author's like, man, how many puns can I get in?
He is. He's the pun king. Deputies arrived at the $1.5 million home to serve eviction papers.
Wow.
Now, $1.5 million can't get you what it used to.
No.
We'll just put that out there.
Yeah. But still, that's impressive. They have a $1.5 million home.
Yeah, it is. Deputies arrived at the $1.5 million home to serve eviction papers on homeowner Alton King Jr., but were met with a cluster of protesters instead.
Wait.
Who's out there protesting the eviction of a $1.5 million home?
I don't know.
Obviously, they have money because they're out there in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. During this time, the officers secured the premises and waited for Mr. King to return, as we were told that he was at court trying to delay the eviction, reads a report authorized by Deputy Sheriff Daniel H. Soto. Minutes later, an SUV towing a trailer pulled into the driveway, and a woman emerged from the driver's seat, according to Soto's report. At that time, a female later identified as Rory Susan Woods exited her vehicle and went to the back of the trailer and started shaking beehives to let the bees out.
So she's just traveling around with bees. Okay.
Who let the bees out? Bzz, 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 bzz. The next song from the Wu-Tang Clan. Deputy Michael Jocelyn attempted to stop Woods, who successfully freed one of the hives by breaking the cover, causing hundreds of bees to swarm around. Deputy Jocelyn was stung in the face and had to retreat.
Ouch.
How would you like to be that deputy? Just showing up to work one day, just having a good day, innocent day, started out with coffee and a roll.
Yeah.
Told, you know what, it's going to be a piece of cake today. You're just going to go out, serve an eviction.
And he's like, you know what? It's a $1.5 million house. These people are well behaved. They come from money.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm just going to have to deal with, I paid this or whatever.
Yep. A little lunchy-munchy afterwards, after the eviction. You know what? You might have to go out and, I don't know, help some kids cross a crosswalk later on after lunch. Then, you might have to pick up a few stray jaywalkers and then call it a day. That's
easy day. Easy day.
Life in Massachusetts.
Lots of foliage.
And lots of foliage. Yeah. Real simple, right?
Yes.
Instead, bees to the face.
I bet he regrets eating honeycombs for breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Well, he probably had the smell all over him.
Yeah.
They probably attacked him like flies on a, beef sandwich. I have no idea.
Like bees to honey?
Yeah, like bees to honey. The 55-year-old Woods then donned a beekeeper suit, of course she did, and began liberating more angry bees, Soto reported. Fly, my bees, fly!
Save us, I'm now a Batman villain.
Like Professor Xavier unleashing the X-Men. She donned a beekeeper suit and said, to me, my X-Men.
I want to know what the relation is to her. Hopefully they say in the article what her relation is, not just some passerby who wanted to unleash hell on the police.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah.
She rolled 3 more large hives off the trailer and carted them to the entryway of the home situated on a stately cul-de-sac. I love the flowery language here.
Yeah. I just picture her putting the 2 hives down and her sitting right in the middle with her arms on it like she's the queen. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get on this property? You got to come through my bees.
Much like the Scarlet Witch commanding her magic.
Exactly.
She had bees circling her as she waved her arms. Attack them, my bees! Attack them!
Has there been a super or a comic book character with control of the bees? I don't think so. None comes to mind.
You got Ant-Man, you got Wasp, you got...
But they didn't really... Well, yeah, Ant-Man did control ants, you're right.
Yep. Wasp,
but I don't know bees.
Wasps.
I know Squirrel Girl. She does squirrels.
Squirrel Girl. No, no, I guess not.
I'm going to have to look this up later on.
Yeah,
I'm curious now.
Yeah, you're going to have to. Yeah. Officers at this time attempted to stop Woods, but were attacked by the bees. Oh, so they were loyal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. More chaos ensued, and several sheriff's departments' employees were stung, including 3 who were allergic to bee stings. Oh, now it gets into dangerous.
Yeah, now they're deadly weapons.
Yeah, now they're deadly weapons, according to the narrative. Woods attempted to resist arrest, but was eventually taken to the ground and handcuffed by deputies, which rhymes with bees, which rhymes with knees and sneeze, and these. I don't know. I'm trying up my rapping skills.
I see that.
Yeah.
When's the album drop?
Pretty soon.
Okay.
I'm going to bring Ziggy Stardust and the
Meatheads
and the Meatheads with me on tour. They're going to open. By the way, if you haven't checked out Bruiser's social media, there's a perfect album cover on the social media.
There is.
Yeah.
It was. We took her to meet her litter mates again, and the lady who hosted was just taking a video of them, and she caught that perfect still shot. I'm like, this is a perfect album cover.
It is the perfect album cover.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to figure out somehow to get it on a t-shirt. I think it'd just be awesome on the t-shirt.
Cafe Press, man. Yep.
Well, I'm going to talk to my t-shirt guy, see if we can do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Either put it on your Pro Wrestling Tees store, or we got to make a Darkness Radio store. It's got to be up on a Darkness Radio store.
Yeah, and I'm gonna donate some. If I do it, I'll donate some to the
animal shelter.
The animal shelter they came from.
Yeah, absolutely.
I sent it to the animal shelter's Facebook page, and they loved it. They're like, we're printing this out and hanging it up. I'm like, go right ahead.
It is so cute. It's the cutest picture ever, folks. I'm telling you. Okay, so back to the story. Woods attempted to resist arrest, but eventually was taken to the ground and handcuffed by deputies, with a large group of protesters clamoring for her not to be arrested, according to the report. While Woods was being escorted to the cruiser, another deputy advised Woods that he and several officers were allergic to bees. Woods' response, according to the report, "Oh, you're allergic? Good." Oh, wow. Jesus. Really?
Talk about heartless. Wow.
Yeah. Well, maybe she meant to do that, as Pee Wee Herman would say. Oh, I meant to do that. Some officials fled into the 10,000 square foot home to escape the swarm, the report added. Woods was arraigned in Springfield District Court that morning on multiple felony charges of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, that being the bees, and disorderly conduct. She pleaded not guilty to the charges and was released without having to post bail.
What?
Yeah. Bail-free bees.
So she's like, oh, you can't prove they're my bees.
No, they can prove they're her bees.
Yeah.
But she's saying she's not guilty because she can't direct the bee's path.
Yeah, she can't point and say attack like you can do with a dog or a tiger or whatever.
According to a 2021 op-ed column Woods penned for the Daily Hampshire Gazette, she is a veteran beekeeper who keeps honeybees in Northampton near the community gardens. Woods cannot be reached for comment. A message left with her attorney of record was not immediately returned. In 2018, she was among 21 people whose evictions were appealed by the Massachusetts Alliance of Against Predator Lending to the state Supreme Judicial Court. At that time, she had been fighting her own case for several years. A spokesman for Hampton County Sheriff Nicholas Kochi said eviction proceedings at the address had been stop and go for years. A phone message left for King also was not immediately returned. Western Housing court records show King was served a 72-hour notice to vacate the premises in 2018, but a court battle ensued. When that notice was served, King owed $1.2 million on the property.
Ouch.
According to filings in the case. Kochi said members of his civil process division routinely served eviction notices and understand the angst the proceedings can cause. We are always prepared for protests when it comes to evictions, but a majority of the groups who protest understand that we are just doing our statutory duty in accordance to state law, Kochi said. And they appreciate how we go above and beyond to help the people being evicted with anything they need, from food in temporary shelter to long-term housing, employment, and mental health and substance abuse disorder treatment. However, Kochi denounced Wood's tactics as extreme and potentially life-threatening. This woman who traveled here put lives in danger as several of the staff on scene are allergic to bees, Kochi said. We had one staff member go to the hospital, and luckily he was all right, or she could be facing manslaughter charges. I support people's right to protest peacefully, but when you cross the line and put my staff and public in danger, I promise you, you will be arrested.
Yeah.
Prior to the pandemic and a moratorium on evictions, which lifted earlier this year, the Sheriff's Department served 600 to 800 eviction notices annually, Kochi said. A spokesperson for Kochi says the department reaches out to those subject to eviction notices ahead of actually serving them with offers of assistance. So, yeah, the bees might have been a little overboard.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I just like how she traveled to the site with a trailer full of bees.
Oh, yeah.
You know she had the intention of she's going to release these bees.
She rolled in like the A-team with a van.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, you could actually hear the theme in the background. You could hear the boom, 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 boom. And then
very underrated theme.
Yeah, and you could hear the narrator in the background. If you need help in an eviction, call the B team. Yeah. So there you go.
They're armed with EpiPens.
with EpiPens just in case. We move on. It turns out this guy had the perfect racket until he got caught.
It's always a perfect one till it's a perfect crime till you get caught.
True. A man is jailed after selling rented equipment from Home Depot.
Oh, okay. I guess it's low cost for you.
Yeah, no overhead.
Yeah.
No.
You rented for $20, sell it for 40, made some money.
You made a $20 profit.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Use somebody else's name, you're fine.
Yeah. Just scratch off the decal on the side and
I know somebody used to do this with movies back in the day when you could go to a video store and rent videos. Mm-hmm. He used to rent the videos and then sell them.
Really?
Yeah.
Would he rent them in his name?
That's how he got caught.
Oh.
He rented it in his name.
Wasn't thinking.
No. It was my parents' video store, so that was my first experience with a dumb criminal. With a stupid crime.
That's classic.
Yeah.
So never thought there'd be fines or...
Nope. He thought he could get away with it. He thought that, because it was $3.15 to rent the movie. And he was turning around selling for $20, I think it was. I don't remember what it was. But he had come in and got a bunch of the new releases and was turning around and selling them. And so what my parents did was when they filed a police report, because after so long you get a late fee.
Yeah.
And then after so many late fees, you go to collections.
Yeah.
Well, the number he put down wasn't his number. He used his name and address, but not his phone number. So anytime that we'd call for the late, hey, you have a movie late, it'd send us actually to the weather. So my mom was like, well, so she got the police involved because it's theft then.
Right, yeah.
So we gave all the information over to them. And 2 or 3 days later, the cops came in and said, oh, no, we caught him. Like, he was smart giving a fake number. But he was an idiot giving his real name and his real address.
Oh my God.
And they came and they found all the movies because he couldn't move them. He couldn't sell them in time.
My God.
And they had all my parents' video stores, labels on them and everything. So
that is stupid.
Yeah. That was my first experience with a dumb criminal, stupid crime. Yeah.
That's incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. He was only 22, I think it was. That's how old he was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Huh.
So let's see how stupid this guy is.
Well, his name is, I believe it's DeMarco Kente Fan. He's in Rome, Georgia. DeMarco Kente Fan. He's only 26 years old, of Clarkston, was jailed in Rome this week after reports that he sold rented equipment from the Home Depot. Police said that Fan rented a Kubota excavator for a day, but failed to return the tool. After numerous attempts to get Fan to return the tool, it was later found in Wetumpka, Alabama. Damn, that's a long distance.
That is, yeah. Georgia to Alabama.
Yeah.
And it's a Kubota. What was it? A Kubota what? Excavator?
It's an excavator.
So that's a big piece of equipment.
Yeah, that's not a small piece of equipment.
No.
Yeah. Authorities said that Fan sold the equipment on Facebook Marketplace for $8,000 at the Reed apartment complex in Tucker, Georgia. First of all, okay, so you put it on Marketplace and say, I got an excavator for sale. Yeah. And it says Home Depot right on the side of it. Who goes, oh yeah, I'll buy it.
Well, sometimes those companies do sell used tools.
Right, but don't they paint over the decal or take the decal off?
Yeah, normally you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. They don't normally leave the decal on.
Hey, a cheap excavator is a cheap excavator, you know?
Yeah. Fan is charged with felony theft by conversion. So there you go, kids. If you ever see on Facebook Marketplace an excavator for $8,000 with the Home Depot logo still on it, ask questions.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
At least call Home Depot and say, hey,
are you missing,
what's your process for selling used tools?
Yeah, exactly. And they probably sell them cheaper on their own website.
Probably.
Yeah. You probably don't have to go to Facebook Marketplace to get them.
No.
Although I'm hearing that's a bigger problem now, where people actually go into stores like tool, like hardware stores, and they steal tools.
Yeah.
And then they sell them on Marketplace.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's like a huge deal.
Yeah.
We move on. An armed burglary suspect who tried to. Oh, by the way, we are going to Florida. This is called. This is a little mini Florida block here that we're getting into. We're going to do a Florida transition here. We're going to go completely stupid Florida into swinging weapons Florida into swinging weapons Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're making a subtle transition here. We're going to go from swinging death to swinging machetes to swinging swords.
Oh, so we're moving up.
Yeah, we're moving up in the world.
Okay.
An armed burglary suspect who tried to evade deputies by jumping into a river is identified. This is the swinging death part of it in Florida. Who jumps into a river in Florida, first of all?
I would be terrified. There's so many gators out there.
Yeah.
And you can't necessarily see them.
You might as well change your middle name to Chum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might as well just cut your foot and jump in shark-infested waters.
Right. An armed burglary suspect who evaded deputies on Saturday has been arrested on multiple charges, including drug possession and fleeing and eluding police. Boy, you got to be high on something to jump in a river in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's in Florida and he's running from police. So I'm assuming he's high on something.
Yeah. According to the arrest report, 28-year-old Oscar Leonidas Jr. of Apopka, an armed burglary suspect, was traveling in a stolen Chevy Silverado and entered Seminole County on State Road 419. Deputies said the Orange County Sheriff's Office made initial contact with Leonidas and followed him into Seminole County, but did not engage in a pursuit. You may want to know why. Well, let's tell you why. Once Leonidas entered Seminole County, Orange County deputies turned the investigation over to Seminole County deputies, but continued to assist and follow the subject by helicopter. Seminole County deputies said Leonidas stopped on State Road 415 near Celery Avenue, bailed from the car, and jumped into the St. Johns River.
Stupid.
Oh.
It was promptly eaten by an alligator.
It gets better, Bruiser. The area was blocked off as law enforcement tried to locate Leonidas in the water. State Road.
There's really not any. He can either go upstream or downstream. There's no real. You put a deputy on one side of the river, one on the other side. There's nowhere he can go.
Yeah, or he can go under.
Right.
Yeah. State Road 415 was shut down in both directions at the Seminole-Volusia County line, while law enforcement located the suspect around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office. Keep in mind, it's dark now.
Yeah.
And he just jumped into a river.
Yeah.
With lots
which though, if you've seen the water in Florida, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's not like, a Caribbean Ocean where you see the bottom. It's dark.
Yeah, it's dark, it's murky, and there's lots of things in there. There's snakes, there's alligators, there's lots of stuff. Around 8:30 p.m. on Saturday, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office tweeted out that State Road 415 had reopened and that the Seminole County Sheriff's Office had the suspect in custody. The Seminole County Sheriff's Office charged Leonidas with fleeing and eluding deputies and drug possession of fentanyl and methamphetamine.
There it is.
The magic combo.
The Florida trifecta.
Yep. Charges are still pending from Lake County, where his warrant originated. Those charges are for armed burglary, aggravated assault, and eluding law enforcement. According to his booking report, Leonidas's bond totals $66,000 for all that trouble.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Fun stuff. So we go from jumping in the river to jumping into nakedness with only a cowboy hat and attacking a woman with a machete.
Of course. Let's see if we get the Florida trifecta with this one.
Are you ready for the nakedness here?
Oh, I'm always ready for nakedness.
Mm-hmm. We go to Medley, Florida, where a 45-year-old man was arrested after allegedly attacking a woman with a machete because she didn't have what, Bruiser? She didn't have what?
I'm going to say change for a 20.
You're close, but keep going.
Well, he's naked. He has a machete. He has a hat. So drugs.
Oh, you're so close. One more try here, buddy.
Money for drugs.
Oh, and we are close, but she didn't have a crack pipe.
Oh.
Didn't have a crack pipe is what we were looking for here, Bruiser.
That was my next guess.
Yes.
See, I always have a crack pipe, I guess.
Yes. According to WPLG TV on Tuesday, October 11th, a completely naked Roberto Hercules, of course he's naked if his last name's Hercules, attacked the victim while wearing a cowboy hat near Northwest 74th Street and South River Drive. The female victim was reportedly riding her bicycle when of course she was. How many times have I been out riding my bike, Bruiser, when I've been attacked by a naked man in a cowboy hat with a machete asking me for a crack pipe?
Well, you see someone riding their bike, you just assume they have a crack pipe.
Of course, yeah, because they're riding quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, you have balance and coordination. Do you have a crack pipe?
You must be on crack. The female victim was reportedly riding her bicycle when the suspect asked her for a crack pipe for $500, Alex, and he allegedly attacked her. The woman got off her bicycle, and Hercules reportedly chased the victim, continuing to strike her with the machete on the head,
Ouch.
on the head and arm.
Ouch.
Oh, what's that all about?
That would hurt. Why get off your bike? Start riding. That's what I would have done. I
would have just kept riding past him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, no crack pipe. See you later. Late for a date.
According to WPLG, after a while, Hercules fled the scene. Hercules. The victim was transported to the hospital after suffering a fractured skull.
Ouch!
A small brain bleed. There's no such thing.
No, I would not want any brain bleed.
Right. A broken arm and a laceration of her hand. As of October 17th, her condition was reportedly stable. Unlike Hercules. On Friday, October 14th, Hercules was located sleeping in a tent, still naked, alongside 2 cowboy hats.
2 of them?
Yeah, well, one to cover the front, one to cover the back.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
The victim was reportedly able to identify Hercules in a photo lineup from her hospital bed. I don't think it would take much.
Just the naked man that attacked you. Yes.
That's his
naked man.
That's him. That's his cowboy hat. That's his machete. Case closed. Hercules shouted that he wanted to get shot when police approached him. This according again to WPLG. He was arrested and charged with attempted murder, attempted armed robbery, and aggravated battery with a weapon.
No drug charges. He didn't have the drugs on him. Just in him.
Just in him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We move on to Missouri, where they're still swinging weapons. This man from Missouri is accused of fatally impaling his brother with a sword after an argument about an oven.
What? Why go to a, like, I get collecting swords. Swords are cool. Mm-hmm. But when I get into an argument, I never think, I'm going to grab a sword and stab you.
Especially over an oven.
Yeah.
If I'm arguing about the oven, let's just argue.
Come on, man. I want to put my pizza pockets in. Let's go. Use the microwave. No, I want the crunchy crispiness.
And I'm
baking a cake.
I will stab your ass over it. I need the texture now. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's not.
Get an air fryer. That works.
Air fryer. There you go.
Yeah, I love the air fryer.
Yeah. It's just, what? $59 will save so many lives.
It will. It will.
It really will. A 38-year-old man from Kansas City was arrested after he allegedly fatally stabbed his brother with a sword following an argument about their oven. Oh, God. According to charging documents filed by the Jackson County District Attorney's Office on October 13th at 4:41 p.m. Oh, it was dinner time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Early bird
dinner. Kansas City, Missouri Police Department officers were called to a residence on Tracy Avenue and found Carl Wynn with a sword through his chest.
Ow.
Damn, he wasn't playing, son.
No, that's ow, especially if it's through the breastbone.
Yeah. The Kansas City Fire Department declared him dead at 4:51 p.m. For some reason, it took 10 minutes.
Well, they had to get the sword around the sword to check a pulse.
Maybe they just stood there and went, "Oh, that's harsh." Officers went into the home and saw someone on the couch. That person, whose name in relation to the victim are redacted, is
eating a Hot Pocket.
Is eating, yes. You're going to feel bad when I say this.
I am going to feel bad.
Is seeing impaired and required assistance in exiting the residence.
Ooh. Hey, what's going on back there? I want my Hot Pocket. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, hold on. I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on.
What's that noise? It sounds like you unsheathed the sword. No. Let's go back to watching your stories.
I can't watch my stories. I can't see a fucking thing back here. Never mind. They were seeing impaired and required assistance in exiting the residence in a back bedroom. Police reportedly found Carl's brother, Aaron Wynn, and took him into custody in a 24-hour investigation arrest. It took 24 hours to investigate this deal.
24 hours to find them in the back bedroom. I know he's here. So did they have the visually impaired guy looking for him?
Oh, no. Come on, Bruiser. No. Go find your brother. I can't. I don't know if you heard me the first time. A witness whose name is also redacted reportedly told police he went to the home on Tracy Avenue to complete a work order in the backyard. As the man walked toward the backyard, he reportedly heard a loud scream coming from the front porch area. He went to the front and saw a female pointing to the porch and the victim with a sword coming out of his chest.
Oh.
Yikes.
Ouch.
Police spoke with the other witnesses and eventually obtained a warrant to search the home, not the phone, the home. The charging statement says the sword had a Haimuraya symbol on it and was 24 inches from the top of the handle to the front of the victim's chest where the sword entered and protruded 7.5 inches from the back.
Ooh, that went right through him. That's a big sword.
That's some stabbing power, son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Detectives reportedly found a sword case in Carl's bedroom with the same Haimuraya symbol on it.
So I'm assuming it's a katana.
Probably, yeah. The Jackson County Medical Examiner's Office determined Carl died from multiple sharp force injuries and ruled his death a homicide. While speaking with police, Aaron said he lived at the Tracy Avenue home with his uncle, mother, and brother Carl. He reportedly told police he saw Carl with the sword sticking out of his chest and believed he committed suicide.
No, you don't commit suicide with a sword. We're not in 16th century Japan.
Yeah, it's not ritual harikari here.
Yeah.
He allegedly admitted he and Carl got into an argument that day regarding the oven being off while Aaron was making a pizza. You were right about the pizza buckets. It was just pizza, though. According to the statement, Wynn conveyed in the interview that he was unhappy with the victim's lack of ownership of what Wynn classified as an evil wrongdoing regarding the oven.
He turned off my oven. My pizza wasn't going to be able to get cooked. It's the worst thing you can do. I'm hangry.
An evil wrongdoing involving the oven.
Yeah, there's thou shalt not commit adultery.
Mm-hmm. Thou shalt not kill.
And thou shalt not kill. And thou shalt not turn off the oven while my pizza is cooking.
I see. Aaron reportedly confronted his brother about the oven and recorded the argument on Facebook Live for nearly 19 minutes. Oh, that ought to clear some stuff up.
Yeah.
In the video, Aaron allegedly threatened his brother with a taser, and as Carl tried to get free, Aaron can reportedly be heard saying, "Play with me if you want to. You will die. Mama is going to have to bury your ass." Oh, this sounds mature.
Yeah. I was going to say, I've fought with my brother before, but I've never said that.
In a second Facebook Live recording, Aaron allegedly says, "It's hard to be a nonviolent man, but motherfuckers won't let you." They want you
the
to...
one thing that makes him violent is him not getting his pizza.
I guess pizza's important in this man's life. They want you to be violent, he goes on to say. They want you to, and I'm sorry, folks, for using this language. It's a direct quote. They want you to F shit up. That's why I don't like to fight. You're going to die if I put my hands on you. My sons ain't going to see me in the cage. Well, evidently they are.
Yeah, that's where they're going to go visit you.
Yeah. The Jackson County District Attorney's Office said Aaron Wynn is being held on $750,000 bond. And guess where he is?
Where?
He's in the cage. Yeah. Congratulations.
Sons, if you want me out, we just need $750,000.
Congratulations to him on being in the cage. We go from effed up to even more effed up.
Wait, did he get to eat his pizza?
Probably not. No.
Well, 24 hours for the investigation. I'm just wondering if...
Well, he probably did. Yeah, he probably heated.
Was a visually impaired person in there going, "Hey, something's burning"?
No, come on.
What's burning?
No. They probably ended up making the pizza, eating it themselves. Mm-hmm. That's what I would guess. Oh God, this next. By the way, if you're squeamish, this next story is not for you.
Okay.
You probably want to fast forward a little bit. We're going to Cypress, Texas, where childcare takes a whole new twist, and it's not good. By the way, if you're,
I'm scared to hear this.
Yeah, it is not a good story. Mom and boyfriend allegedly locked their teens in a laundry room. Now, keep in mind, teenagers do get on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to this point.
No, God, no.
No. Allegedly locked their teens in a laundry room and forced them to drink bleach and urine and eat feces.
Yeah, that's not right at all.
No. A 40-year-old mother and her 27-year-old live-in boyfriend, you can already tell, mother of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know there's drugs involved in this.
Yep. Were arrested after two teenagers who were reportedly starving and covered with bruises escaped and sought help. On October 18th, the Harris County Constable Precinct 5 issued an Amber Alert on behalf of 5 children who range in age from 7 to 14 years old, as well as an 18-year-old who was believed to be traveling with Zykia Duncan and Jova Terrell. The couple was later located in Louisiana, but the constable said only one of the children was with them. The others were reportedly at a relative's home. The Amber Alert was reportedly set off when 2 teens reportedly started knocking on doors around their Cypress neighborhood asking for help. According to the criminal complaint on October 18th, at approximately 5:30 a.m., 15-year-old twins, a male and female, knocked on a door at Great Pines Drive and said they escaped from their mother's house. The twins were reportedly covered with bruises, were barefoot, and were partially clothed. The siblings stated that they were starving. They were transported to Texas Children's Hospital, West Campus in Houston, and the responding officer from Constable Precinct 5 noticed the teens had lacerations on their skin consistent with being restrained with handcuffs or wrist restraints. The female 15-year-old reportedly had a gray plastic bag around her neck that she stated she used as a shirt, which is ungodly. Their mother, Duncan, allegedly locked them in the laundry room and made them drink chemicals such as bleach and Lysol. It would spray Easy Off oven cleaner in their mouths if they talked too much.
What? There needs to be... You should have to get a license in order to be a parent.
I believe so, yes.
Or there's a point in time where if these children are too much, take them to a fire department, take them to an orphanage, take them to a church.
Yeah, and just...
Instead of harming them or abusing them or putting them through this.
Yeah, give them to somebody who will love them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Additionally, Duncan allegedly poured bleach on their bodies, including their genitalia.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. The teens were reportedly forced to use a bucket where they needed to use when they needed to use the restroom. One time when the male defecated, Duncan allegedly made them both eat it and drink his urine.
Oh.
It's sick.
Their punishment should be they have to go through that.
Yeah. Well, I got a better punishment for both these two. The teens were reportedly abused with extension cords, curtain rods, and other metal poles. Duncan reportedly gave them a mustard sandwich, relish sandwich, or bologna sandwich 1 to 3 times a week, and they drank water from the water supply valve in the laundry room for the washing machine.
Oh,
yeah.
Seriously, they need to have a license to be a parent.
Yeah. One time,
parenting is not easy. Trust me, I know. I'm a parent. It's not easy. And there's no classes, there's no handbook, but common sense and human decency should be like, hey, I'm not going to treat this person this way.
Yeah. Well, it just sounds like they had nothing but malice and evil in their hearts. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if drugs were involved.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. One time, Duncan allegedly gave the male 24 Benadryl tablets, which caused him to seize. She then allegedly gave him 20 tablets to ensure that he goes to sleep. Terrell reportedly punched the male, and x-rays showed he suffered an orbital blowout fracture. The girl also had trauma to her hands, which the complaint described as deformed and swollen. The male reportedly told investigators he found a key in his mom's purse to the handcuffs used to restrain him and his sister. He reportedly hid the key in his mouth until Duncan fell asleep, and then they escaped. The abuse had allegedly occurred since approximately July 1st. In October of 2019, Duncan was reportedly convicted of cruelty to juvenile by child desertion. KPRC TV reports Duncan and Terrell were arrested by Louisiana State Police in Baton Rouge, and the victims are in the custody of Child Protective Services. The Harris County District Attorney's Office has reportedly accepted charges of first-degree injury to a child. Jail records indicate Duncan and Terrell are in custody in the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail in Louisiana, and I hope both of them get severely raped while they're in there.
I agree.
Just saying.
Like I said, the guards should do the same thing to them that they did to those poor kids.
Yep. Just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Let's lighten it up a little bit. Although I don't know that this is lightening it up a little bit. This guy went after a group of children to shoot him with a paintball, but I think he got his just desserts.
Okay.
This actually happened overseas in England. A paintball marshal who shot a group of 9-year-olds in their private parts and verbally abused them during a children's party has been spared jail. Yeah, I know. It seems weird.
So he
odd.
went to this party and did this.
We'll find out here.
We'll find out, yeah.
Zach Ramage was working at Mayhem Paintball in Longfield when he subjected the 8 children to a nightmarish experience in Woodlands last June. The 19-year-old who was meant to be charged of the youngsters subjected them to a range of traumatic physical and verbal abuse, shooting them between the legs, on the feet, and in the neck, as well as swearing at them and calling them little shits. On October 14th, he was sentenced at Woolwich Crown Court after being charged with 15 counts of assault by beating and 6 counts of cruelty to a child under 16. I know it seems like I've lost my mind and I'm doing child crimes here, but I'm not. The teenager of Hartley Bottom Road in Longfield was given a community order for 18 months, including 150 hours of unpaid work, and told to undertake work in a victim empathy session as well as pay compensation. But one of the victim's moms, who had arranged the party and doesn't want to be named, thinks he deserves a custodial sentence. Okay. The 39-year-old Gravesend resident told Kent Online, "It was absolutely shocking, unbelievable, really, that a person who was meant to be in charge of them would subject them to this. I'm still disgusted. He terrorized them the whole time, abusing them physically and verbally. My son came out and we knew something was wrong straight away, but it wasn't until a few days later he totally opened up and told us everything." The mom of one rang the police, and Mayhem Paintball was later told Ramage had been fired. She praised the company for its swift action and support up until the sentencing, but says the nightmare party has had a lasting effect. It was traumatic for the children, she explained. It's not something you expect when you take your child to a paintball party. He even called them the C word.
Oh, yeah. But in England, that's normal. England, they use that very frequently. It's when I've met a couple English underwater needle pointers, and they just throw that word around willy nilly. I was like, yeah. In America, we don't do that. Yeah. And they're like, oh, over there, it's slang. And then they told us, what they find offensive over there. But I'm like, yeah. Over here, though, them's be fighting words.
Yeah, they are fighting words. Yeah. They say he should be banned completely from working with young people. Well, no doubt. Yeah. We're not happy he avoided a custodial sentence, but I'm glad it's now been through court and exposed, said one person. Tom Davey, who has run Mayhem Paintball for 35 years, said, "Our company has probably employed hundreds of local youngsters, and we have never experienced anything like what happened. The first I knew was when the organizer of the kids' party phoned. Approximately an hour after the party had finished, I was incredulous with the allegations and immediately began investigations with the company to establish what had happened." Mr. Ramage was fired the same evening once we'd established the severity of the incident. I've remained in contact with the organizer throughout proceedings, and from a company point of view, we have apologized profusely that this could have been or possibly happened. I don't understand why this kid wasn't arrested. He's 19. Yeah. And he's committed assault on children.
Exactly. He should be arrested and put through trial and sentenced. I don't know their laws over there for that, but this sounds like assault, at least.
It is assault. But they're saying here that, he was fired and that's it. And that's that.
They should have all the kids be able to shoot him in the privates, at least.
I think, just line them up and 19 kids just take a shot at the nards.
Yeah. Hey, you cheeky bastard.
And they can call him the C word. I mean, they get a pass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he wasn't arrested at all. He was just fired.
No,
That's it.
No, he's just fired.
Kind of a disappointing end to that story.
Yeah, that is. I was hoping there was a better ending to that too, but
come on, English people, let's go. Pick it up.
Let's pick it up here. There's a jail term for a woman and a sex toy stabbing. That's the headline on this deal.
Don't want to get stabbed with those.
We have 2 stories left here in Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. We're ending on a kinky note. So if you're listening at work, this is the not safe for work. Like the other ones have been safe, but this is the NSFW portion of our program. We'll give you about 5 seconds to either turn down your volume or put on headphones or even get the kids away from Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, even though I think shooting kids in the nards is probably enough to get them away from the podcast at this point.
Yeah.
But we'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to get them away from the listening device.
Let's jump into these sex toys.
Yeah, what? No, Bruiser, no. That could hurt. Jail term for a woman in a sex toy stabbing. A relative is knifed after he sought to return an adult item lent to a perp.
Yeah, you can't really return those, I'm assuming.
Well, with a good washing, I think you could.
Yeah, this didn't work as well as we wanted.
Yeah.
To return it.
A Kentucky woman who stabbed her male cousin during a dispute.
Would anal beads be allowed to be returned? I wouldn't want to
No,
return
God,
anal beads.
no. I don't want them back. You can have them, especially after you've played chess with them.
Yeah.
A Kentucky woman who stabbed her male cousin during a dispute over a borrowed sex toy.
You shouldn't be lending sex toys to people either.
No. That's pretty much your personal property.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a big giant party, that's one thing. But
Yeah. A Kentucky woman who stabbed her male cousin during a dispute over a borrowed sex toy has been sentenced to 12 months behind bars. This according to court records. 34-year-old Crystal Denham that's a hell of a name, by the way. That sounds...
She works at the local...
I was going to say, sounds like poll work is in her future.
Yeah.
Was sentenced yesterday in circuit court in connection with last year's assault of Michael Barton, who police identified as Denham's cousin and neighbor in Corbin, a city 85 miles south of Lexington. I don't mean to laugh here, but it's...
So, of course, it's the South.
Lots of stereotypes.
And they're sharing... Yeah, this is a joke just waiting to be told.
They've got the double wides butted up against each other. Police were dispatched to Denham's...
Double wide sex toys, too.
Oh, come on, Bruiser. Come on. Police were dispatched to Denham's home after she called 911 to report that she had stabbed Barton. When a cop arrived at the residence, Mrs. Denham was sweeping the porch. And by porch, we mean the cement steps.
Yeah, but she wanted to make sure the double wide was clean. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to present your trailer in bad fashion when the police are coming to investigate.
No, they accumulate crap pretty quickly.
Yeah. And she wants to be that clean white trash.
You know what I admire about trailer owners?
What?
The fact that they put out the little plastic AstroTurf right there around the steps. Yeah. That tells me they're keeping the lawn up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep the lawn up.
You do.
Yeah. That's important.
I like when they I met a guy who still lives in he calls it a motorhome community.
It is a motorhome. Yeah. We got to keep it up with the terms. But
I respect that he at least took the wheels off, so he's staying for a bit.
Mobile home community. They call them mobile homes here in Minnesota. Mobile home, motorhome, mobile home.
Trailer park. Yeah, I grew up in a trailer park for my first 3 years of life.
Mobile home.
Trailer park.
Mobile home. We're gonna get letters from people.
We are definitely getting well, you are.
My mom lived in a mobile home for many years.
I have friends that still currently live in.
Yeah.
Like I said, the one, I always tell him, hey, I know when you're ready to move. He goes, why? I said, you're gonna put the wheels back on.
Oh, come on. See the symbol I'm holding up right now as I bump my microphone? This is the white trash symbol right here. White trash.
It is.
See? What you do is you form a W with your as I open the dungeon. You hold up the W with your west side with your one hand, then you put a T on the top.
Gotcha. Okay.
White trash.
Okay.
There you go. Back to Ms. Denham.
Ms. Denham currently sweeping as the police show up.
She's sweeping the front porch.
She's sweeping and vacuuming her astroturf.
That's right. Denham told police that Barton had come to her home and they had gotten into an argument over a sex toy. Denham had borrowed the adult item and Barton had wanted it back.
Well, of course. You know, they wanted to please themselves.
Those who help themselves are closer to God, evidently. The sex toy is not further described in court records, thank God. After telling Barton to leave her property, Denham said he grabbed her by the elbow. Denham police reported said she then used the kitchen knife in her hand to stab him, but did not think she even drew blood. Well, if you stab somebody, chances are you're either going to hit or not hit. That's a 50-50 proposition.
Yeah.
If you hit, you're going to draw blood.
And that's why you should wait to ask for your sex toy back till after they're done making a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After telling Barton to leave her property, I read that part. When police contacted Barton at his residence, he had 3 minor cuts to his arm, armpit, and back. I think she swung more than once.
But she didn't think she drew blood.
No, not at all. Barton confirmed that the pair had gotten into an argument over the sex toy, adding that he went to leave when Denham began acting crazy. That's in quotes. At that point, Denham stabbed him, said Barton, who declined EMS treatment. Following her arrest for felony assault and several misdemeanor counts, Denham was booked into the Whitley County Detention Center, named after Keith Whitley, by the way, the famous country singer from Kentucky.
Is it really?
No, I'm making shit up now.
You had me fooled.
She spent 8 months in custody before being able to post $10,000 bond in late June. I figure it was probably named for Keith Whitley because that would be the,
I'll go with it.
That would be
go with it.
Thing to do there in Kentucky.
Now, my question is, what happened to the sex toy? Did he get it back?
I think the wrong questions are being asked here. Really, I mean,
well, she served 8 months. Did he get it back? I don't know if he needs it for himself or for his significant other, but
Do you really think he would take 3 stabs to the arm and to the back to get a sex toy back for a significant other?
Yeah, because you can hold that over her head. Like, look what I did for you. I took these because you had to have Vibratron 3000. You had to have it.
Vibratron 3000. Wasn't he one of the members of Outkast?
Hey, yeah.
Hey, yeah. And finally today, Bruiser, I don't know if this is a crime. It's a crime that this thing is detached. I know that much.
Ooh.
That it still doesn't belong to its neighbor. That it doesn't belong to its owner or neighbor. But I know this much. A woman has stumbled upon a beached penis as big as her leg.
As big as her leg?
And that's a crime in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that's why
it reminds me of that song, Detachable Penis. It's a great song. Look it up.
But that in itself is a crime, and a dumb crime at that somebody got it lopped off. Not the way you want to see Free Willy, that's for sure.
No.
An Australian woman redefined sex on the beach after happening across an alleged whale penis. That's what they're saying it is.
Okay.
Although
those things are huge.
Although it is a whale of a penis, if you know what I'm saying. While beachcombing in Queensland, footage of the supposed phallic flotsam, by the way, great band name, Phallic Flotsam.
Yeah, I like it.
Is racking up millions of views online. What the F is that? An aghast woman whose posts under the handle @bootscoot or Bootscootin' AF is what it is, @Bootscootin' AF, wondered in one of the TikTok clips detailing the disgusting purported Moby member. That's what it says in the story here, which she found on Magnetic Island. Well, she certainly was attracted to it, wasn't she?
Oh, she sure was.
Hey, now, I don't know if is this the, no, that's not it. I thought that was my rim shot, and it's not.
Well, this whale definitely got a rim shot.
She certainly was attracted to it on Magnetic Island, wasn't she? There we go. Now I've done myself proper. so to speak. In a separate clip with more than 3.6 million views, the woman said she'd been walking on the beach of the idyllic island when all of a sudden she discovered the mutilated alleged member floating in the crystal clear water.
She just tripped over it. Oh, goodness.
What if she tripped and fell on it? Yeah. Accompanying footage shows the massive pink object, which appears to be sliced in several places and whose fleshy insides are visible at the end where it was seemingly detached from an animal. In another clip, she places her foot alongside the supposed phallus to show how it's nearly the size of my leg.
This is not a Bigfoot cast. This is a whale penis.
It is.
She asked her husband to whip his out to compare, and he's like, that's not happening.
Yeah, way to be smart about that there, lady. Needless to say, many social media oceanographers speculated that the jumbo appendage had once belonged to a whale. One armchair zoologist who doesn't like to use medical terms said that's a whale's pee-pee. While another wrote, don't touch it. It's a whale thing.
Why not touch it? It's not going to get you pregnant.
She might fall in love with it. Of course, a few TikTok wits couldn't resist making sophomoric wisecrack.
Of course, this is just inviting the sophomoric wisecracks. That's why it made our show.
That's right. He's just called Moby now, joked one in reference to the, is it cetaceans or cetaceans, long lost schlong. Another social media comedian quipped, Free Willy has taken it too far. Yeah. It's better with the rim shots.
Have you ever seen the spoof poster of Free Willy? You know, the poster of Free Willy shows Willy jumping over the kid, and the kid had his hands up. There's a spoof poster out there where Willy's dick is hitting him in the face as Willy's jumping over him. Now we know what happened to the penis and landed in a magnetic island in Australia.
The kid grabbed it and ripped it off?
Yeah.
Ouch. that could hurt. Australian wildlife expert Dr. Vanessa Perrotta has since weighed in. She weighed in. Weighed about 4 pounds, 6 ounces. Has since weighed in on the bizarre discovery on TikTok, noting that it's hard to know exactly what this object is without seeing it in the flesh. Get it in the
hard,
flesh.
It was soft. It wasn't hard, it was soft.
As a scientist, we want to have as much information on the size and also how it looks from every single angle. So we just don't know at this stage, she said. Boy, she got her shots in, didn't she?
She sure did.
Yeah. However, she noted that the alleged appendage was found near a popular breeding ground for humpback whales, whose penises can grow to 10 feet long, a whole foot longer than the tallest man who ever lived. Oh, wow. I
like how they threw that in there.
I just have to...
This whale dick's bigger than the tallest guy in the world.
I just have to point out, Bruiser, I can't even... The woman who found this, by the way, evidently was trolling for whale dick here, because look at trolling for whale dick. Mr. Goodbar 2, trolling for whale dick is the name of the movie. Look at, I can't even fit her face in the frame. Look at the outfit she was wearing that day. This woman has some mammary glands on her son.
It's like, I have to hold on, before we post this video, I gotta look good. Gotta get the girls going. So
look at the sundress she wore.
Yeah, she's leaving nothing to the imagination.
She's got like triple G's.
Come for the whale dick, stay for the female boobs.
Oh my God! They got okay. Like I'm reading this off the New York Post, right? And her TikTok handle is again Boot Scootin' AF, and she chose not to wear a bra that day.
No. She's hoping that enough guys that, you know, because we joke about dicks all the time, come onto her TikTok page and she can find Mr. Forever.
And she's sagging down to what? Her navel?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Holy.
When does a tit become a teat?
When you're sagging to your navel, evidently. And she's not an old woman. She's a, I mean, let me try to get her face in here. It's hard. I mean, I'm not hard, but it's hard. Look at it's. I had to zoom in.
She's not that old.
No.
She looks in her late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, early 30s.
I love how she's surrounded by whale dicks, though.
It's like that meme of that hot dogs being thrown at her.
Yeah, she's just surrounded by whale dicks.
It's whale dicks and Loch Ness are being thrown at her. But you zoom down and you know she's got a healthy breastbone. I mean, she'd have to hold up.
She knew what she was doing to get followers.
Yes, she.
Like I said, come for the whale dick, stay for the cleavage.
Yeah, and boy, she throws it out there. Yeah, Miss Boot Scootin' AF. she should call herself Boob Scootin' AF.
Yeah,
because man, she's throwing it all out there.
She's leaving nothing to the imagination.
And I'm not being a misogynist here, ladies. I mean, she's
presenting them.
Yeah. She's throwing them out there on a platter.
Yeah. She's taking some initiative behind, like this whales do his out on the beach. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna throw mine out there too.
Yeah, she didn't show up in Victorian dress or wrapped up to the nines. She didn't. She went sundress, no bra. Look at me, world.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, I found whale dick. You want to see something else? Is the way she approached the video. Nonetheless, Dr. Perota threw cold water on popular TikTok theories that the member was bitten off during a whale mating ritual.
Yeah, whales don't really have teeth. They have those long, stringy things.
It's called a vagina. Sorry, Bruiser. I had to throw in the whale mating rituals here.
Yes.
Yeah. And whales don't generally give each other blowjobs. I'm just saying.
I bet a shark bit it off and then went, oh, God.
Oh, I thought that was an Oscar Mayer wiener. If this is a male humpback whale penis, Dr. Perota says, it is very unlikely that it was bitten off by another humpback whale. Nothing like gay whale action in the ocean. That's what I gotta say.
Well, the whale saw an ocean liner and was like, "Hey, baby." Tried to mount it, and the propeller's like, "No."
I was like, ah!
The whale's like, "Hello, would you like to mate?" Tries to mount it. There's some poor fishermen out there right now going, honey, you're not going to guess what happened to me. I was all crabbing and this whale just jumped up out of the water. And I heard a loud, and the whale went, ooh, and ran away.
And then you hear,
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
That's what you hear after that. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And now some big boob sundress wearing woman's on TikTok. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yep. That's what she's saying. So, Dr. Perota, very interesting theory here. She says that if it was bitten off, it was very unlikely it was bitten off by another humpback whale. She said these whales don't have any teeth, so they gum you to death.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Rather they have, oh, you're right, Bruiser. Rather they have I shouldn't have poo-pooed your theory. Rather they have long hair-like strands known as baleen.
Not vagina. Okay.
Yeah, not a vagina. There goes my bit. She added to bite another male's penis off is something that I have never heard of, or that I've not heard of. So they don't do that sort of thing.
They don't do low blows when they fight.
Yeah, they don't do that. They don't do that deal. So yeah, they got the baleen. They don't have the teeth. And while the scientists noted that toothy killer whales, which prey on other, I believe it's cetaceans, not cetaceans, I'm not sure, could have amputated it, she found this outcome unlikely as there are no other markings on the alleged member. This is just a mystery at this stage, Perota lamented. The whale Willie Caper follows rumors that Scotland's mythical Loch Ness monster is actually just a whale penis. I had no idea.
I thought I sent you that meme. Yeah, there's a meme out there where it talks about they think it's just whale penis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's actually what's in the background of our big chested girl there.
Oh yeah, well it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that meme.
Yeah, true. Michael Sweet, a molecular ecologist at the University of Derby in England, had floated the whale of a tale back in April before walking it back on the grounds that there are no whales in Loch Ness.
That we know of.
That we know of. There could be one just with his dick in the air all the time, helicoptering like Ric Flair in the background.
Or what if it's a giant ruse and people are just removing whale penises and then going in the loch to make it look like Loch Ness Monster? And this just happened to be one that fell off the boat and washed ashore, and that's where Tits McGee found it.
Tits McGee. Boob Scootin' Boogie.
Yep.
Tits McGee. I think that's really all she's got working for her, too, to be honest with you.
It's just kind of cute.
Really? But you put me down the other day for that one girl? I mean, she's... come on.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. There's a reason she wore this sundress.
Yeah, she's a handsome woman.
She's a handsome woman. We'll put it that way. Let's just say when it's closing time.
That's last call, girl. That's what I call them.
Yeah. And it's not like we're judging, folks. We're not judging here, but we're judging. Okay, we're judging a little. She's.
Hey, we judged the whales before, so
yeah, we judged the whales.
We're equal species judges.
Yeah, we judged the whale's size, and we found it wanting. No, I'm kidding. Actually, did I show you the size of this whale cock? Did you?
No, you just showed me what she was wearing.
Let me show you the whale cock. I mean, in all fairness. Oh God, you know what? Here. She looks even worse when she's talking here. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Did you see her when she's on the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of her now?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You're see, I told you. Told you, buddy. Told you. Oh, here's the whale cock. Hold on. Here's the whale cock.
Ooh.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
It's a delicacy in some countries.
It's a delicacy. Didn't Indiana Jones eat one of those in the second one or the third one?
Yeah.
What was the one where I think it was in the
Temple of Doom? They eat monkey brains. And snakes.
It was the second one. It was the second one where they pull out the heart.
Yeah. That's Temple of Doom. Yep.
No.
Yes, Temple of Doom is where they rip the heart out. Yep.
Yeah, Temple of Doom. You're right.
And they eat the live snakes and they eat the monkey brains and all that.
Yeah, Temple of Doom. With Short Round. Yeah. Did you see the reunion between Harrison Ford and Short Round?
No.
You didn't see the adult? Oh, I got to show you the picture. Let me get the
adult Short Round.
Yeah, the adult Short Round. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm going to pull up the picture. Harrison Ford and adult Short Round. I'm going to have the FBI at my door here.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what kind of crap are you looking up online? Here it is. Here's the picture. Here's the picture of Harrison Ford in the adult Short Round.
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Did you see that picture? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy they got back together. And there's actually a story behind it. They reunited after a long time. In fact, is there a story behind it? There might be a story behind it. I know Deadline it was 3 days ago. They had a story on it.
Well, you said they want to do another one. He wants nothing to do with it, right?
Who, Short Round?
No, Harrison Ford. Don't they want to do another Indiana Jones and he wants nothing to do with it?
No, there's one. Well, there's one more coming out, but then he's done.
Okay, so that's what it was.
Yeah,
he's done after that. Which, have you heard the theory that the Indiana Jones movies are really Han Solo's dreams while he's stuck in carbonite?
No, really?
Yeah, there's a theory out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Ki Huai Kwan, who appeared in the 1984 film as 11-year-old Chinese orphan Short Round, was apprehensive as he was about to meet Harrison Ford for the first time in many years at Disney's annual D23. So it was that conference that they reunited. He wondered, would Ford remember me? After all, it had been decades since they were last together. He'd become an adult, and the one foe that can't be defeated is Father Time, he said. Kwan told the New York Times writer Kyle Buchanan how it all went down. As you can tell from the picture, it was a special moment. Kyle Buchanan on his Twitter said, Ki Huai Kwan told me the wonderful story behind the Temple of Doom reunion with Harrison Ford. This is from an article I've got coming later this week and just couldn't wait to share. Let me see. I tried to pull it up here on Twitter. Here it is. And it says, oh my God, let me tell you this. We were at the D23 event and I was told Harrison was going to be there. We're in this green room with so many actors, producers, and directors. And the person who was assigned to assist me said, Harrison Ford is right outside the green room. Would you want to go say hi? I'm thinking, of course. I haven't seen him in 38 years. So I walk out and I see him about 15 feet away talking to Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They're there to promote Indy 5. As I walk close, my heart is pounding. I'm thinking, is he going to recognize me? The last time he saw me, I was a little kid. As I get closer, he turns, he points his finger at me. He has that classic, famous, grumpy Harrison Ford look. I go, oh my gosh, he probably thinks I'm a fan, and he's going to tell me not to come near him. But he looks at me, he points at me and says, are you Short Round? Immediately, I was transported to 1984 when I was a little kid, and I said, yes, Indy. And he said, come here. And he gave me a big hug. When I wrapped my arms around him, all those wonderful memories I had on the set came flooding back. I felt so comfortable. It was amazing. And he's an amazing man, one of the most generous men on the planet. So there you go.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's a wonderful story. So that's how we'll end Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals today.
Yes.
Yeah. Neat little story about Short Round. So yeah, kind of a cool little deal.
It is.
Yeah.
Whale Dicks and Indiana Jones.
Whale Dicks and Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones and the Whale Dicks is the next one. That's how Indy's going out. That's how 80-year-old Harrison Ford is going out, with Indiana Jones and the Whale Dicks. The next movie. Good God. Oh, maybe we can get Ronnie to talk about that on Thursday. We're talking monsters on Thursday.
Ooh.
Maybe he'll talk about giant whale dicks. Monsterland, by the way, is the topic on Thursday.
Nice.
With Ronnie, good God, from Expedition Bigfoot. Ronnie LeBlanc. We'll talk about whale dicks and Monsterland. Good God.
If he's experienced any.
Yes. Have you seen any whale dicks there in Monsterland, Ronnie? Good God. All right, so that'll do it for Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. We want to thank Matthew Gentile today for talking about the new movie American Murderer. American Murderer can be seen October 28th at a theater near you or on video on demand in any area that you get your video on demand, whether it be iTunes or elsewhere. Be sure to check for it in a theater near you or on your on-demand systems. Again, the movie has Ryan Phillippe in it. Also, brilliant actor that is also in Ozark by the name of Tom Pelfrey is in it. And encourage you to check out that movie. I love the movie. I had a great time watching it. So I want to encourage you to check out that movie as well. Tomorrow on the program on Darkness Radio, Supernatural News. Got some wacky stories for you tomorrow. So it'll be myself and Bruiser. We'll see you tomorrow for Darkness Radio. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for tuning in to the best in true crime podcasting. This has been True Crime Tuesday.